Popping, y'all, and today we're looking at PETA issuing a statement regarding the animal cruelty in Palworld. Basically, if you don't know what Palworld is, it's basically kind of like an offshoot knockoff version of Pokemon that was released last weekend. This game has garnered a lot of controversy in the past few days because not only was it one of the top, selling as well as most, playable game on Steam. I think they reached about 6 million sales in early access just on the weekend it was released. But a lot of people are concerned by this because this is Pokemon for adults, where you not only get to capture cuddly cute creatures and all that, but also you get to unalive them, chop them up, eat them, as well as forcing them to do manual labor throughout your camp. And that is just looking at the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of different concerns about this game, but it garnered a lot of concern enough for PETA to actually issue a statement on it. And so that's what we're going to get into today. Basically, PETA, known for its proactive stance on animal welfare, reached out to Insider Gamer to voice concerns over the treatment of creatures in the Palworld, such as pals, offshoot of Pokemon. And in a move that mirrors their previous initiatives, PETA hinted at the development of a vegan guide for Palworld players. Keep in mind, this is for a video game, y'all. This is for a video game. This guide aims to cater to those who wish to abstain from consuming pals during the veganary period of January, and this initiative follows in the footsteps of a similar guide created by PETA and Animal Crossing New Horizons in March 2020, emphasizing the organization's ongoing commitment to addressing animal rights issues in virtual environments. This was an actual statement they posted. It's really the same thing what they mirrored in this little section. But the thing that people are calling PETA out on is that while it focuses on like the consumption of pals and how it concerns with veganism, all that, it really doesn't talk about all the other broader ethical issues that people have a problem with it, such as actually using them as, unpaid labor, sweatshops, from viewing the trailers and stuff online, as well as it has a depiction of, unaliving captured pals in many different ways. One of those ways is, crafting a meat cleaver to butcher those pals, but it doesn't really show as much of the goriness you probably see in real life. I haven't played the game. I'm thinking about picking up the game. I'm a little broke college student right now, but I just want to let y'all know that I haven't seen that firsthand, and I can't really confirm that. So just take that with a grain of salt, unless you see the gameplay from other YouTubers. Another thing that people are up in arms about as well is that players can actually capture pals and sell them to in-game merchants, suggesting a better chance at a better life for those virtual creatures. It also introduces the part of just trafficking little creatures, not only just, with animals in the real world, but also human trafficking as well. That is a lot of bigger issue, as well as PETA's involvement in Palworld Discord is indicative of a larger trend where boundaries between virtual and real life ethics are becoming increasingly blurred. That one thing I've noted this too is, this has started since the VR concept, because when you're playing video games on a computer or you're playing video games with your controller, whatever, you're just pushing a button, you're just playing a video game. It's just all that. But what if we get this type of game in the VR world where you're actually acting out all the movements you would do in the video game yourself, and it feels a little bit more real life? And so that is what this kind of article is alluding to, virtual reality and video games versus real world. The lines are actually getting blurred, and they're starting to mix with each other. So my whole thing with this discourse is that this has been a long argument about, does video games have an influence on whether people or not, cause violence out in the real world or do evil things. In my opinion, no. Now I'm not saying that video games and all types of media don't influence individuals, but most people who do that, including myself, who dabble in that, they don't partake into going out and do that in the real world. And I never once had a violent thought. I personally never wanted to go out and just enslave my pet cat or go get a dog and make them do sweatshop labor, obviously, because that doesn't happen in real life. I mean, this is a game we talking about, but just I never had this inclination to have that idea to do that to anybody else, to just be mindful. And many people don't, especially who play video games. And overall, the biggest thing that these politicians and PETA, all these advocacy organizations, miss is that there's so much more determinants of behavior than just playing a violent video game or just listening to music or listening to a violent movie or whatever. Another example I want to bring into this with the same sentiment is gang violence in the quote-unquote hood, because at the end of the day, little boys and little girls ain't growing up being gangbangers, prostitutes, and whatever just because Nicki Minaj told them, or Ice Spice told them to do so, or Lil Baby or 2 Chainz or whatever, they group around that. It's more so also their opportunity circumstances, because when you put people in a very underinvested area with poorly funded schools, poorly funded extracurricular activities, and you got parents that have to go work and work and work and barely not making ends meet, then a lot of people gonna like have a bad outlook for their life, and they gonna think like, maybe I have to gang bang, and it's just that's sad. And like, and at the end of the day, there might be people that make bad decisions because they just want to make bad decisions, or because it's part of the pop culture, whatever. But at the end of the day, most people are in the circumstances they are in, whether it be involved gang banging, stealing, crime, whatever, because it's more so about opportunities, and they don't have like that type of good outlook on their lives, and so they partake in these instances. A lot of times it's also to like survive. And so that's one of the things I want to bring back to this whole power conversation, is just like, people are not just going outright go out and just go abuse their dogs, abuse their cats, abuse their animals and stuff, and just try to capture other human beings because they see it in a video game. It's just more so, you gotta look at the other factors in that. And I feel like PETA is wasting their time with this statement, where they can be focused on a lot of other things that they can be focusing on. And so with that being said, this has been Pop Health for today. If you'd like to see today, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, as well as comment down below how y'all feel about this, because animal rights is a huge issue. I'm a big puppy lover. I love dogs, all that, and like, I'm all for treating animals as like with respect and dignity as much as possible. But I feel like in this case, it's just kind of getting cartoonish, no pun intended, with the game of how PETA's going about this. But just let me know how you feel below. Other than that, stay warm, stay frosty, depending on what part of the country you're in. Go see this other video right here. It's a banger. As well as peace out.